Welcome to Witchcast!
Cause it's Witchcast!
I'm Emily.
I'm Kate.
And we're your co-hosts of this, the Witchcast podcast.
That's right. We're your learning, growing, ever-evolving novice, which is here to explore everything under the woo-woo, esoteric, spiritual umbrella.
And it is a big, beautiful umbrella. And I feel like this season we've really been expanding the umbrella to talk to more and different kinds of witches and witch-adjacent folks.
Absolutely.
And today we have a very special guest along those lines.
Yes, we're so excited to welcome into our studio, cauldron room, attic, I don't know, whatever you want to imagine us in.
Metaphysical studio.
Yes, our metaphysical realm of Witchcast. Author and witch Emma MacDonald. Welcome.
Hi guys, thank you so much for having me. It's so great.
Thanks for being here.
Oh, we're so happy to have you. We were chatting before we started recording, and we feel like you are very much. We have a lot in common. We feel very much like. What's the lady centric term for brethren? Is it still brethren?
Kindred spirits? Oh yeah.
Okay. Right, I was going with the witchy option, but
yes.
No, we love that.
Okay, we're all in a coven.
Yeah.
If you have one, we're joining yours. You can join ours. We'll be in mutual covens together. We're so excited to have you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Speaking of, where are you actually calling from right now?
So I am just outside of DC, Washington.
Oh, nice. Lovely. Yeah, East Coast. We're in New York City adjacent. I moved to Jersey, but I still call myself a New Yorker.
and I'm in Queens. So.
Yeah, she's actually a New Yorker.
Sorry.
I spent my 15 years. I got my badge, and then I was like, I'm good. But okay, so we have so much to talk to you about, Emma. We have so many questions for you. Congratulations on your debut adult fantasy dark academia novel, Whispers Most Foul, which just was published in October of this past year in 2024, correct?
Yes.
It's delicious. It's super exciting. It's so atmospheric and moody, and I love it. And so but we want to get to know the woman behind the page, as it were. Tell us a bit about yourself. How did you become a witch? Like, how did you get into witchy stuff? And then also, how did you become a writer?
But it's funny, both of those questions are kind of like, it almost kind of feels like from time immemorial. But honestly, like the witchiness, I used to be, like when I was a kid, I was a little feral child running around in the woods barefoot. So like, I feel like I've always kind of had the like connection to nature and that side of witchiness down. And then throughout my life, I kind of just connected to that more. I have a lot of I've always been a vivid and lucid dreamer, so I really connected with the kind of like woo-woo side of things there. And then a couple of years ago, I ended up just living with a coven of witches. So that really solidified a lot for me.
Amazing.
And then the writing, again, ever since I was a kid, like I was always scribbling down stories, not good ones, mind you, like they were terrible, but that just kind of started the writing bug. And I think I finished my first book right outside of college, which again, terrible. But hopefully my skills have gotten a little bit better since then. So.
Wow, amazing. Okay, first of all, I have to know more about this coven you moved into. Can we talk about that for a moment? So tell us that story. How did were they just like roommates you found, or?
Pretty much. I was living with some roommates at the time, and this was like right after, not right after, I mean, obviously like COVID is still around, but like probably 2022, 2021, somewhere around there. So right after the biggest part of COVID, I guess. And I was like, you know what, I really want to like move. I want to try something new. So I went on Craigslist, which usually a mistake, like usually wouldn't recommend that. But the first thing I saw was like witchy roommates wanted. And I was like, yeah, that sounds good. And so I just like answered it, and it kind of happened from there.
Wow.
I love that.
Oh my God, witchy roommates wanted. Like, what a dream.
Yeah.
You know, you really do sometimes just have to speak into the universe.
I feel like that was like the witchiest thing too, right?
Yeah.
Like just stumbling upon that right at the right moment. Like
you were meant to.
There you go.
You were meant to live with them. So how many, like, and I'm sure they had all different types of practices.
Yeah. So there were a couple. So there were three of us, like centrally. There were, and then there was one that started with us, and then she moved out, and then another guy moved in, and then like another. So it was a little bit like there were a few here and there, but the three of us, the main witches, like
the charmed one.
One of them was like an astrology witch, so she was had all the star charts memorized, that kind of witch. and also did a lot of like spell works. They were also pagan as well, so they kind of had like a religious practice surrounding it, which I don't have. The other one was definitely more into like the tarot side of things and was a medium. And just kind of general witchiness all around. So, and then I am the green witch of the crew, the green and the dream witch of the crew. So, yeah,
amazing. So I love it. I feel like this is your next book, or like your third book. I wanted to talk about your witchcraft in particular. So, you are a green witch, and so talk to us. What does that mean for you? How does that show up in your practice? And how did also living with these other witches help impact your own practice as well?
Yeah, I think, as I said, I've always kind of been connected to it. I taught myself a lot about like herbal medicine in college, actually in the pursuit of writing that first terrible book that I was telling you about. Yeah. So I got into it with that, and then I was like, wow, this really like speaks to me. So I started looking into it more, and kind of had like my own practice going on, but it was like very, what's the word I'm looking for? Very newbie, like baby witch. So then, like, I had always been more connected, like, as you can tell, this is also kind of like my vibe. Like, this is how I decorate, this is how I dress, very witchy. So everybody was always like, oh, you're just a witch anyway. And then, so when I got that ad, I was like, okay, this is my time to, like, actually get into, like, some practices and find out what other witches do and all of that. So I will say that, like, a lot of my herbal knowledge ended up being really useful for spell work. And so that's where I was kind of the green kitchen witch of the house, because I would, like, put it in like into my baking and my stews and stuff, and so I would always be like in the kitchen, or growing plants around the house. And I don't know if you guys can see behind me. I have like a whole cabinet of herbs, like that's just dried herbs back there, that little wicker cabinet. So that is my that side of my practice. Like that's probably more the like tangible side of things that I do. The other side is, as I said, I'm a dream witch, so I have like I've always been a really vivid dreamer. And then again, during COVID, my lucid dreams started getting like really, really regular. And so I started doing more work with that. And that has kind of been the focus of my more recent witchy endeavors.
I love it. I noticed your author bio also says that you like brew potions, which I guess is that kitchen witchy family. Yeah. So what kind of potions?
Yeah.
I do a lot with like, and sometimes like when I say potions, I'm being a little bit like tongue in cheek because it is like making like food and stuff for people. But sometimes I do actually make like little herbal remedies and stuff. And so I do make a lot of tinctures and tonics and potions, mostly for like healing or just like day-to-day use. For the tinctures, I make I have a vitamin C boost one that I use, and I have like a valerian root for sleepy time, bedtime. I don't know why I said sleepy time.
Sleepy time is bedtime. Bedtime is sleepy time.
So yeah, it's just kind of for the day-to-day usage. And I put I have in my daily coffee, I'll put the like immune system boost and a rosemary chamomile tincture in there as well, because rosemary is really good for boosting your brain, and chamomile is good for like if you have anxiety. So just kind of those like good start to the day ones. It's part of my little like morning ritual with my coffee and my chicory, because chicory is also like a really witchy thing. So yeah, that's my
love that.
Amazing.
That's so cool. And I feel like hearing you talk about your witch practice, I'm also seeing threads in your book as well of like how your witchcraft has informed your writing. So how did you said that you've kind of always been writing stories, you've always been a storyteller. Obviously I feel like a lot of witches are very artistic and creative as it is. So when did it kind of manifest into becoming a published author and being like, oh, I want to write specifically like dark academia fantasy? Like what was that journey like, and how did your witchcraft, if at all, like kind of inform that? I mean, I'm assuming it did.
That was a very long journey, because like everything in publishing, traditional publishing at least, it takes a long time. Like it's a kind of hurry up and wait industry. So honestly, the whole idea of getting published, I feel like it's one of those things that just popped into my head one day, and I was like, I'm going to go for it. And having ADHD, when those moments happen, I do actually like follow up on them. Like when you're like, you know what, I'm actually going to commit to this thing. Nice. So that, I think it was because I was really passionate about it. And it was a very long process of, as I said, I wrote like my first whole book and tried to query that to get an agent, and it was a terrible book. It should not have been queried. But then I wrote my second book and queried that, and then I got my agent. And then we were working on that book for a while, but the market changed, and she was like, you know what, your vibe is kind of witchy and kind of dark academia. Do you want to write, because I was always writing fantasy, she was like, do you want to write something in that genre? And I was like, can I make it fantasy? And she was like, absolutely, sure, yeah, go for it. And that's kind of how Whispers Must Fall was born. So we just had like a brainstorming call one rainy November morning and came up with like the major plot points of the book, and I was like, great, I'm gonna go on like vibes and witchiness and then just like sew it all together.
Amazing.
I feel like vibes and witchiness is like that. I mean, even like that first chapter is just like, it feels like so familiar, and yet like it's a new story, but it's like it almost feels like lo-fi beats, like
Yes.
you know what, for studying in a way where you're just like, oh yeah, this is like I know
ASMR
exactly.
for the witchiness.
Yeah, exactly.
It feels weird to read in the sun, like, you know what I mean? Like, I want it to be rainy, I want a cup of tea,
Yeah,
I want those lo-fi beats playing, and I want to just curl up with it in the corner.
it's actually really
Cozy,
hard
that's what it is.
to like market in the spring and summer. I'm like, come read my book about ghosts, all weather. But yeah.
I don't
So I
know,
wanted
it was
to
working for me.
Yeah,
Sorry.
absolutely. I wanted to quickly touch on that because I do want to speak about your process as a writer a bit more and get a little more technical, but I have to ask you now, because the lucid dreaming I find fascinating. I've always found lucid dreaming very fascinating. I've been able to do it a couple times. It's not something that I would consider a strength of mine or that I can do necessarily super on command, but I do also have very vivid dreams. And the ghost element that Emily just mentioned in your book felt very like, what's the word, just super visceral. And so was that the way you describe the visions? And we don't want to spoil anything, you guys all need to go buy it and read it yourself, but was that informed by your lucid dreaming experience in your dream? Like, where did you get your inspiration for how the ghost element manifests in your book?
So that is, I think, kind of another aspect of my overall witchiness that has kind of been around for a while, because I would not refer to myself as a medium, but I am one of those people that can like walk into a space and be like, nope, we're not staying here, we're out. But the only time that I have ever like seen kind of spirits or ghosts or anything like that has been in my dreams, and like that has happened very frequently. So like there's an element of that. It's not as scary in my dream. Like when it happens to me, I'm like, oh, this is fine. I like have a
Okay.
or whatever.
It's really
But,
scary in the book.
The horror element was definitely built up for the book. There's only been like a few times where I've encountered something like in my dreams, or like a place in my waking hours where I've genuinely been like, I don't want to be here, I need to. And part of my lucid dreaming, I'm able to like wake myself up out of a nightmare, so I feel like that's maybe just like a little bit less scary for me, because I'm like, oh, I can just wake myself up, like I don't need to stay here. Just like in reality, if I walk into a space where I'm like, doesn't feel good in here, I'm like, we're leaving immediately, like I don't want to stay here any longer. So that kind of like the chills, the like pricking on the back of your neck, like that sense of dread kind of hanging over you, is more based on like what I've experienced in my waking hours. And then the visions are like that kind of lucidity of like knowing it's not necessarily physically happening in front of you, but like it still feels really real. Like that's more based on the like lucid dreaming or the element of.
That's so cool. What a cool blend. Yeah. It's very stirring. I feel like I'm right there with the protagonist.
Yeah. Wait, I want to take a pause right there just to say, we've been talking about it so much, but can you just give our listeners like a quick overview of
Yes.
like,
Yeah. Let's like
what Whispers Most Foul is and what it's all about?
Yeah.
I can read like the little blurb saying.
Ooh, I love when authors read. Yes, please.
So it is. Excuse me. Rose Fenliffe has never felt at home in these elite halls. An outcast for her inability to cast spells, she keeps her head in books, away from the critical eye of her headmistress mother and the sneers of her fellow scholars, especially the talented but insufferable Sylvie. But in the corridors of Dunhollow Academy, something strange and threatening is stirring. Classmates are going missing, and Rose discovers that she alone can see their ghosts. Are they dead or enchanted, or is something more sinister at work? Worse yet, Rose's latest ghostly vision is Sylvie, who's just as displeased as Rose to find herself magically tied to her greatest academic rival. The reluctant pair must team up to uncover the deadly mystery that lies at the heart of the academy before time runs out for Sylvie, but are either of them prepared to face the most haunting of secrets, one very deep within both their hearts?
Ooh.
So good. And also it's
because I just, every time somebody's like, what's your book about? I'm like, head into their thoughts. I don't remember.
no, I love it, and it's also really nice to hear you be able to pronounce Rose's last name, because like I feel like it's always like a big like thing in the fantasy world, right? Is like, how do you pronounce the character names?
Yeah, my agent is one of those people that is like, I just hear like syllables matched together, so I do actually have like a whole pronunciation guide in the back of the book, and I wrote that specifically for my agent, because I was like, and this is how you pronounce this, and she was like, that is not what I was saying. Okay, so yeah, that's I did include that. I didn't actually, there's also one for the cast of characters that was just for the audiobook narrator, but they actually put that to print as well. So like when I opened up the book, I was like, oh, okay, well I guess now you can.
Now they know.
Right.
The debates can chill on that aspect, at least in the Goodreads chat rooms. Amazing. Okay, so gosh, there's so much I want to talk about. Okay, well, let's go back. I want to talk a little bit about writer process for a second, if that's cool. Like, we've had a couple other authors on the podcast. It's always such a treat, and it is kind of rare. So I love to hear, and Emily and I are both creatives. Emily's a writer. We love to hear about what is your process, especially also fellow ADHD haver here. We're all neurodivergent on this podcast. What is your process for locking in, getting shit done, meeting your deadlines? How do you write? You know, like what is that like for you?
Definitely not organized. It's not. I'm not one of the authors that like sits down and it's like, I'm going to write this much today, and I'm going to get this amount of words done, and it's going to be nice and pretty, and then I will like get a whole draft done and then go edit. Like I wish I could be that. Unfortunately, with the ADHD, like that does not happen. What usually happens is that I will get an idea for a book, and kind of, I love the ideas stages. Like that is my favorite time to just be coming up with like how things fit together. And I often get like, once I know who the characters are, like I'll get snippets of conversation in my head, and I'm like, I'm going to jot that down, and that'll be a scene later. Like I'll build a whole scene around that. So that's my favorite part. And then I'm like, okay, so I should put all of this down into like an outline, which is very, very detailed. And then I will promptly forget that outline exists and just kind of go on vibes. Like I'll put the outline at the top of the chapter and then refer back to it after I finish the chapter and be like, I got like 50% of that on so that's kind of the process. And then I kind of edit as I go. So I have never had like a first draft and then go back and have like a second draft. Like it's always, I'm kind of editing like as I go. So by the time that I'm like sharing it with anybody, like my agent or my editors or my other writing friends, like it's already been a little bit edited. Except for the book that I'm currently writing. That one, like I haven't even like read through it, which is not good. But yeah, it's organized chaos is what I would refer to it as, because like sometimes I won't get anything written for a whole week, and then I'll get like one idea and sit down and write for like 10 hours straight, and I have like a whole act of a book done. So yeah, that's the downside, and also the like superpower of having ADHD is that like when the deadline hits, suddenly you're like, I could do 80 hours worth of work in 20 hours, but the rest of the time it's kind of like, I got a little smidge here or there.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you don't try to force yourself to fit into, there's so many, I think, expectations and restrictions that, especially specifically writers, like you said, you hear of like, get up at 7 a.m., write for 10 minutes straight, or like I feel really like a failure when I see aesthetic like desk setups. This is such a weird thing, but like this is like a thing on TikTok, right, where you can see like people's like beautiful keyboards and like clean desks with nothing else on it, and they have their little matcha that they make every morning, and like they sit down and play and I'm like, I wish I could be that person.
Okay, this is going to sound really hypocritical because like I do have this nice setup behind me, but I just want to know that everything that you can't see on the desk is so cluttered right now. Like that is I have to present to other people. I'm like, look at my nice stacks of books and my decorations and everything, but like there's like 6 notebooks in front of me and like a glass of water, a glass of coffee. I've got a hairbrush in here. Like it just, I am not, despite, you know, appearances behind me, I'm not that aesthetic in my actual writing process. Like I have a million sticky notes about things that I don't even remember like jotting down. So it's not always pretty.
I love it. And yet here we are, and you have a book out and you have another one coming, and so like I love that you work with yourself,
Yeah,
not against
I think
yourself.
with ADHD, that's also really important because, like, again, as you said, we kind of get, like, especially if you work, like, the 9 to 5 schedule too, you get really forced into that schedule that is not really natural for your brain. And for me, especially with writing, I kind of, like, instead of being like, I'm going to write this much today, like, I can do that on a deadline. Like, if I have to get something done, I can write forever. But for the rest of the time, like, when I'm kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Like, when I'm the only one that's, like, holding me to account, I don't have a, like, I need to finish this chapter. I just have a, like, I need to write something today. Like, even if it's only, like, 50 words, because usually what happens is that, like, when I start writing, then I'm like, oh, I had an idea for this and this and that, and I end up writing, like, 500 words. So it's more, instead of, like, judging myself for not getting to something, I'm like, you just have to get this little bit. You have to write, like, 3 words, and then usually I'm like, well, I can do more than that. So
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm the same. It's like either like I can write one sentence or I can write like an entire article or like whatever it is. But some days it's like, if I got those 3 sentences done and it was the hardest I've ever had to work, then fine. That's something.
We're all doing great. We're all doing really well. And I mean that earnestly.
What are you going to do?
Exactly. Very cool. So what was your inspiration behind Whispers Most Foul? I love that you and your agent had kind of a brainstorm together, because I think that's so helpful, and I feel like people often think of writing as a very isolating creative vocation, and you're kind of siloed and on your own, and that, like, again with ADHD, if there's no one holding me accountable and there's no one I can talk to, I'm just gonna get really distracted. So I love that you worked with your agent. But what kind of inspirations did you draw from for this book?
So a lot of it was just kind of like my own life and the things that I really love to, like, I'm a huge fall girly, so like I was like, I want to write a book that feels like it's like stepping into fall. And then originally there actually wasn't as much horror in the book, like the ghost elements were not as spooky. And after my agent read the first draft, she was like, can you make this spookier? I feel like you can do spookier. And I was like, say less. And then a lot of it was kind of like my own, which is funny because like in my own life, I don't like watch horror or read horror. I'm a huge wimp. But when I write it, I'm like, I can tap into the spooky for myself. So a lot of that inspiration, I think, just came from my own imagination, honestly. But then a lot of it also, like, I think I didn't try to work any real practices per se into the witchcraft of the story, because I never really want to just like copy paste something that has real context and value in our world into another world, especially if it's not something that I practice. It's like vaguely inspired by certain things. So there's, I think it's called, oh my god, I forgot all the words in my own world. It's like so Rose, for example, like really likes being around plants, and it's called healing and herbalism. There we go. And so like that kind of element of, the green witchery, like I put a little bit of that in because that is, something close to my own heart. And I, like, there were other forms where I was just like, oh, this would be like kind of a cool thing to work in, but I never wanted to take something that is like somebody's actual practice and make a version of it,
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I love that. So
there is a sequel in the works, right?
Yeah.
And that is Whispers Most Deadly?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's very exciting. And that comes out when again?
So that is, I think in the US, it's out in late October of this year, and in the UK, it's out in early mid-November.
Perfect time of year, yes.
Yes. So once again, like right around the Halloween kind of to really capitalize on the spooky, honestly.
Yes. We are 100% behind the fall superiority. Like, what is it? Like big fall. We're big fall over here. So we're
like a through line with witches, right? Like there's just something about fall where you're like, my witchy senses have been like activated.
I am awake. I am alive.
The veil thins. The air gets crispy. I also wanted to ask about how Rose, the protagonist, she's the only student at Dunhollow Academy of Witchcraft, which is the school this takes place in. It's a university. Like, she's the only one who cannot cast spells. And so I thought that was a really interesting and great character trait, because I feel like a lot of fantasy novels I've been reading, all the romantasy like books lately in the last couple of years, but a lot of times I feel like the protagonists are like often portrayed as extraordinary in the sense that they or have like super strength suddenly, or they're like expert archers. And so I think that, you know, what was your inspiration behind having Rose actually be kind of at a detriment starting out in the beginning of the book?
Honestly, I think that was just something that I was kind of interested in playing around with, because I think witchcraft kind of exists in our world on the kind of fringes of society. Like, it is by its nature, like, usually people that I find in the witchy community are outcasts by some quantifier. Like, they, you know, they have either, they've left like a religious background and they're interested in exploring things outside of that, or there's a lot of queer and neurodivergent folks in the witchy community. Like, I feel like it draws in people who have always felt a little bit like on the outskirts, and so I really wanted to explore that from the protagonist's point of view in a world where there is magic, and so like what that would look like. But I also didn't want her to be I feel like when I, like, kind of similar to what you're talking about, when I read, it's either super special, like chosen one, all the magical powers in the world, or like sad little lonely outcast, like who everybody's against. And so I kind of wanted to strike a balance between those, and write her in a way that felt relatable to really anybody who has kind of ever felt like they were on the outside in their life, so that, you know, they could relate to that part of Rose's journey. And I did want to give her, like, she still has you know, some skills outside of magic that she has to rely on throughout the course of the story, and so I was interested in exploring like what that would look like being in this really magical world where, you know, magic is as common as breathing. If you don't have it, like, where does that leave you in that society?
I love that. I think that it also will be resonant to a lot of our wonderful listeners. We don't have like a humongous base, but we love our coven, our witchcasters, because I like you said, I think witchcraft in general attracts a lot of outcasts, but also there's a lot of people in the witchcraft community who are still in the broom closet, or dabblers, or who feel not empowered to be able to even call themselves witches. Who, you know, there's a lot of, because I think we live in a materialist society, right? And so to dabble in or practice in a field that is largely intangible, it's so easy to be like, well, I don't really have any powers, or I don't really have any capabilities, or like, I like crystals, I like astrology, but does it, you know, the constant doubt I think is always kind of there. So I think that also is a really great example of how Rose's characterization taps into that as well.
And I think in our world too, like, it's the you kind of find that meeting point of, we live in a materialistic world, and we also live in a world of hierarchies, and so I think even like some of that gets carried over for people in the witch community. Like, even if they are breaking away from, you know, some hierarchy, like you mentioned, you know, religion, something like that, they still, there's a piece of that gets carried over into kind of exploring you know, witchiness and all of that, of like, well, can I call myself a witch? Like, does somebody have to label me that way? Can I label myself that way? Like, and I think that happens in a lot of, like, I know that a lot of queer folks, that happens for them too, of like, if I'm not out, can I call myself queer? Whatever label, you know, best works for them. So yeah, I think that is kind of just the nature of our society. And I think that was also something that I wanted to explore with Rose, is that she is in this, like, at Dunhollow Academy, it is this very elite, hierarchical kind of rotten to the core structure. And I was interested in having Rose be kind of in that limbo, because on the one hand, she has kind of the outside perspective to see exactly how messed up everything is. But on the other hand, she is a product of that environment. And so she kind of, at the same time that she is sort of very, what's the word that I'm for, like, she's very derisive of everything in her world, she is also a part of it and a product of it. And so I kind of wanted to explore that with her, and how she sort of unpacks the way that she looks at things.
Love it. Love it.
So good.
Yeah. This was such a treat to read. Also, I was so glad that your publicist, was it your publicist? Yeah. That your publicist sent us an advance copy, or not an advance copy, a copy in advance of this recording so that we could get in there.
I think you guys enjoyed it too. That would be
Yes.
really awkward if you didn't.
Could you imagine? Well, I know we ask this a lot, and like speaking of identifying as a witch, you do identify as a witch. Like, what is the title witch mean to you? We love to ask our guests this because this is something we always are talking about.
That's a good question. I think that is such a like personal, like it's different for every person is kind of what I mean. Not like personal, but like, because I think everybody has a different answer. And that might go along the lines of like what type of witchcraft you dabble in. But I think for me, it is kind of being a listener and a creator. I think kind of taking threads of things that are unseen or forgotten or ignored and weaving it into something. And I think that is why there is a lot of overlap between my creative aspirations and my witchcraft, is because they both rely on that same sort of ability to do those things.
Yeah, I love that.
Great answer. Perfect.
Yeah, that's so cool. You said a creator and a
listener.
Okay, it was my ADHD. It's only because my brain went into 50 different directions. But I love that, a creator and a listener. And then also, I wanted to. We spoke about this before we started recording. I wanted to touch on the queer elements of your writing. As someone who is bisexual, I love that. You know, and often in these romance fantasy books, you don't get to have kind of any sort of queer storylines, especially not with the protagonists themselves.
Yeah.
Like if they do, they're usually side characters, and it comes in book 3. I'm not going to mention names, but anyway.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, you know, we all know. Those who know, if you know, you know. So, I really appreciated that you have. That you explore sapphic romance in this book, and by romance in general, you know, or pan, you know. So what was your thought process behind that? And talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that, I think, there is something about dark academia that I don't know why, like it just really feels queer to me. And I think part of it is that dark academia, so there are like a few things in dark academia that you kind of have to make it dark academia besides just the setting, because there's like dark academia the genre and dark academia the like aesthetic, and I think with the genre you get like the obsession and the like there's kind of that insidious thread beneath the like nice shiny facade. And I think so the obsession side of things, I feel like, and I mean, I say this as a queer person, but like we really earn the whole idea that we're very dramatic about, especially sapphics. Like we can never just say that we like somebody, or we'll, you know, spend years being like, I don't know, they're just friends, and it's like the most romantic thing you've ever seen in your life. So there was something about that I was like, I feel like the story really has to be sapphic, because like the amount of yearning and pining and the like kind of borderline obsession that the two like Rose and Sylvie, sorry, spoilers, have for each other, is very, like, there's a lot of it that I was trying to work that in on. And then again, with kind of examining I felt like it was very poignant to have that be not just with the main sapphic pairing, but there's a lot of queer characters, be they like genderqueer or bi or pan or, you know, anything like that. I thought that would be interesting to thread in between kind of the critique of the very like insidious structure that we have in terms of like the school and the empire that it exists in. So I thought, just kind of weaving those together would create a lot of interesting opportunities and commentaries and such. So.
Yes, and delicious scenes. And in book 2, you hinted what can readers expect for book 2 coming out?
2 is a lot darker and a lot sexier than book 1. So book 2,
we love it. We love a book series that grows up.
We have Rose kind of in her last year at Dunhollow, and she is coming back to a there's a competition going on between a bunch of the other universities. So it is done in Hollow Academy, but it is, just to be clear for anybody who doesn't know, it is an adult book, so it is kind of in that like college age range. So there's a competition going on, and so we were introduced to some new characters with questionable motives and even scarier powers. And Rose herself kind of grappling with the events at the end of book 1, which is all I'm going to say. Spoilers. So yeah, it is, and also in line with, the sapphic characters, we still have those storylines happening, but there is a bi for bi throuple, so a polytriad. There's a bunch of different words for it, but yeah, there's so it is between. Can I say who it's between? Is that spoilers? I don't even know.
I don't know.
Okay, well, she's gonna spoil it now, and then fast forward 30 seconds if you don't want to hear.
Yeah, so it's between Rose and Sylvie, and then there is a new competitor named Callum, who they have an interesting relationship with. So,
can't wait.
Yeah, it's very basically there's a lot more death and murder and smut for everybody.
I love it.
So,
more violence, more sex.
Yeah, a chef's kiss
coming to a bookstore near you this fall. Amazing.
With a dash of magic.
Yes.
Just a little into magic.
Yeah,
I'm so excited.
Yeah, that's amazing. Very excited. So, Witchcast listeners, you have it's April now. You have 5-6 months to get your shit together before the sequel comes out.
Yes, get the first book. It was this fall.
Shit together.
I mean, we all have to get our shit together. First,
everyone, get your shit together.
It's just a little bit of shit getting together, and then from there, maybe get the book.
Ooh, I'm so excited. Now I'm just really pumped for fall. I know it's
I gotta
spring.
savor every minute. Kate.
I know spring is great too.
Barely into spring, and we still have all of summer to get through.
I know.
Yeah.
It's gonna be rough.
Emily, you like summer, right?
I do. I usually love the spring, but this year the allergies are killing me. So I'm feeling a little less generous towards it at this exact moment.
I actually don't get allergies, but I do. Look at me. I look like a vampire. So obviously the sun and I are not close friends. So summertime is a real struggle.
Understood.
I can't believe you don't get allergies. I don't think I've ever met anyone who doesn't have seasonal allergies.
I'm a green witch. I can't get allergies.
Oh my gosh. You should open up a bookstore / herbal remedy tincture store and sell your books and then also sell your herbal remedies because I would totally buy some
books. Honestly, I feel like that would be a really successful having a little bookstore. Isn't that every witch's dream? They're I want to have a coffee shop that's also a bookstore that also sells witchy stuff that also is a cat cafe that.
I was gonna say your cat can hang out there. Oh,
it's got to be a great witch or a queer person that I also probably all the neurodivergent people too. That's just
right. Yeah. We all have an insane business plan in our back pocket. If anyone ever is
just a little rustic woodsy,
Yeah,
shop
in case our long lost great aunt leaves us $2 million in a haunted house in Massachusetts.
It's the meeting of the dark academia vibes and the cottagecore vibes, and that is what everybody wants.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. That reminds me of a question I had earlier. You mentioned this: dark academia as a genre, dark academia as a vibe,
aesthetic,
as an aesthetic. Can you break those down a little bit for us? Because I'm fascinated. I mean, I always say dark academia, love it.
So I feel with the genre that is specific to books, media, film, TV, and it does. I'm going to forget everything that it has to have as soon as I start talking about it, but it does kind of have to follow certain, there has to be certain either tropes or themes or elements to it to classify it as dark academia. So usually the setting is going to be at some sort of university, boarding school, that kind of thing. There is very often secret societies, cults, some hidden mystery that has to be uncovered. Usually there is obsession. There is just immediately everything flew out of my head. But
that's okay.
Look at it. It's there's a lot of elements that have to go into it. So you can't just slap dark academia
Wow.
as a genre on anything, but the dark academia aesthetic, or like being inspired by dark academia, that is way more open. So like that could be you dress like with the dark academia aesthetic, or you decorate, you know, your office, your house, your room with the dark academia aesthetic, or like the book kind of has some vibes of dark academia without following all of the other things, you know, like that kind of like maybe it takes place at a university and kind of has some of those like aesthetic inspirations, but it isn't, you know, following any of the other plot or
Wow.
like elemental requirements.
I had no idea that it as a genre was so specific. I thought it was just vibes.
Until I wrote it, and then I was like, oh, okay, I actually, like, there are things that, you know, if we're going to call this dark academia, I have to, like, include some of these things, so.
Or like check some of those boxes. Yeah. All right. Awesome. Thank you for teaching us something also while we're at it.
Stay in there.
So, at the end of every episode, we do draw a card, and you have a tarot deck, right?
I do, yes, my fancy little deck here.
Yeah,
what tarot deck do you use?
Yeah, tell us the name of the deck if you remember.
To be honest, I forgot. It's like 2 years ago.
All good.
Right when I moved in with the witches, and it has escaped my memory, so
It's okay. All good.
I do have, this is not my only tarot deck. When I went to London for the UK launch of the book and met up with my publishers there, which also shout out to Penguin Michael Joseph, because they are the ones that were really supportive of me having both a sapphic storyline and a polythrouple in like a major published book, which I feel like doesn't happen very often. But yeah, so when I went to visit them, they did gift me with another tarot deck, because again, they were like, this seems like you, and it's the, I think, like, I've seen it in other stores, it's the avian tarot deck, so, like, each card is a bird, and it's amazing, because, like, the card, one of the cards that, like, shows up for me, so I have a dream guide in my lucid dreams, and the card that I've always associated with him is a crow, is the mage, and in this deck, or the magician, the crow is on that card, so I was like, that seems really, because I'm also the friend to the crows, so this might but I have like the murder of crows that comes and visits me every morning looking for.
Oh wait, we should describe the tattoo for people who are not listening.
It's upside down, I can't really, but it's 3 crows. There's no real good way for me to show this to you.
You can just tell us.
There we go.
Like 3 crows on it.
Like 2 crows sitting on a branch and 1 flying overhead.
Love it.
So.
Beautiful. Will you send us a picture of your tattoo?
Absolutely.
You can post
if
it on
you're
our
comfortable
Instagram.
with that
We'd
being
love
on
to post
Instagram.
like little, if you're okay with it. We'd love to have like a photo of you, a photo of your tattoo, any other additional
or like book
images,
cover, anything like that.
We'd love to share stuff like that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay.
We love birds on this podcast. We're very pro bird, very pro crow. We love the crows. So.
I'm a huge, like, maybe it's just the witchiness, but I love, like, all of my favorite animals are like the animals that everybody else is like, aren't those a pest? Or like, aren't they, like, I love crows, I love vultures, I love pigeons. Sorry, I was like shuffling the deck to pull a card, and I don't like the one that keeps coming up. I'm like,
oh no! Well, you have to tell us what it is.
You have to show it. You know they.
Well, now I lost it, but it was the 9 of Swords upright, which is like all about things. Oh, and okay, and case in point, the second one that popped up was the Mage, as I was talking about my.
Oh, that's so amazing!
But no, the 9 of Swords is all about like overwhelming anxiety. So I don't love that, but you know, I feel like that is fair given everything happening in the world right now.
They always
for a lot of people.
The cards read you whether you like it or not, man.
That's one of the cards that was coming up for me for like a long time and then stopped, and then apparently today was like, do you have some anxiety? Like,
guess who's back, baby?
He's got a lot of anxiety.
Yeah, it could also be a really great card for your book too. You know, the kind of the energy in the beginning that Rose.
You know, I do
the
feel like
tense anxiety.
Yeah, a card with Rose, the 9 of Swords would be one of them. Like she
see,
a lot of like. To be fair, though, like that's understandable anxiety. She's dealing with a lot of.
Yeah, she's right. But
yeah. I think we're all feeling a little bit of 9 of Swords lately. As much as we don't want to.
Hopefully that turns in reverse for all of us, and we can let go of that anxiety.
Yeah. We can move from the 9 of Swords to maybe the Mage, the Magician. That'd be nice.
Or maybe.
Oh, I was like thinking the 10 of Swords. I'm like, I don't know if I want that either. But yeah.
Okay, so I did pull a third card. I'm sorry if this is outside of the thing.
No,
the
please.
Mage showed up because I said that was my guide card. I was like, okay, well, if the Nine of Swords was the first card and I was like, I don't like that, and then he showed up, I was like, well, what's the next card that's going to fall out? Because maybe that's the guiding card. And it was Strength. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Please take a photo of all three and we'll post them on our Insta. Those are beautiful.
Little mini reading for you there, Witchcast listeners.
That feels good. That feels good. See, we have the endurance to get through the Nine of Swords. Yeah. We can endure. Absolutely.
I do love that in this deck, though, the Strength card is like characterized by like a raging storm on the sea and a ship like just barely making it through. So again, everybody's hanging on for dear life.
Apt. Yeah, that is appropriate.
Red to filth.
Sorry about that, guys.
No. I love it. Yeah, so please take a photo of those. We'll post them on our Instagram. And God, now I just want to talk about crows. Oh, that's what I want to say. I saw my first raven in the wild the other day. 2 ravens in a row. Like, it was wild. I feel very blessed by birds lately.
Where did you find ravens in the wild?
There was one, like, literally the street over from my house, which is insane because, like, why? I live in northern New Jersey. Like, why would there be it must have been because it was so big. It was as big as a hawk sitting on a tree branch. My husband was the first one who saw it, and he was like, what? He's like, look at that crow. And I was like, that's not a crow. It had the hooked beak and everything. Like, it was huge.
Wow.
And then we
escaped from someone's collection, maybe.
I don't know. Like, because they're not native to up here, so I don't really know. But unless it was a super big crow or something, but it was
just like a freak crow.
Yeah. And then I saw one on the
that
back.
too.
Yeah, that looked. Maybe it was just also another really big crow.
Well,
but
ravens do often travel. I believe they mate in pairs, so that is probably because crows, I think, hang out in. They're still like familial groups, but they hang out usually in like groups of like 3 to 7 is like a standard murder. And I think ravens. I know ravens do too, but I think they have like that mated pair generally. And I can't remember about crows now. But yeah, sorry, you unlocked the crow nerd.
No, we love it. We love birds. I actually like brought home peanuts so I can I really want to become friends with the crows. That's
I feed mine. So I have chickens, and I feed them the eggs from my chickens because crows and hawks don't get along. So I make friends with the crows, A, because I like them and I'm a witch, and B, because they will chase off the hawks so that the hawks don't eat.
Oh, okay. But see, that's interesting to know because I also have a hawk friend, and she dropped off offering a gift for me the other day in the form of a headless dove. And so now I feel like I have
you'll be pushing the hawk away.
I know. I don't want to push the hawk away because I feel like the hawk and I are friends too.
I have a hawk that likes to, I don't know if it's like coming to hang out with me or just coming to push its luck, but every summer, only in the summertime, it comes around and just likes to sit in the trees, and I think it's taunting the crows. But yeah, no, they don't share space. Like, crows will go get like 100 of their friends and come and attack. I love crows. They're so dramatic.
Relatable.
So Emma, where can people find you on the internet? Where can they follow you, find your book? Tell us everything.
Yes. So I am probably most active on Instagram these days. And that, oh my God, what is my Instagram name? Emma MacDonald _author. Yeah, that's what it is. So yes, you can follow me on Instagram. I post updates about, sometimes I just post pretty aesthetic photos of Whispers Most Foul because I do love my own cover. Just gonna be vain about that for a second. But I will be posting updates for Whispers Most Deadly as well, and hopefully sharing the cover for that soon. So, that is coming out. The cover and the book, obviously. And then I do have on my Instagram, there's also a link tree that has links to like everywhere. But I do also have a website that is emmamacdonaldauthor.com. Obviously, I go to my own website a lot because I can't even remember what it's called. But yes, you can also find like more info about me, about my books, and that will probably not be updated as much as Instagram because I am not a website designer. But yeah, you can also find more information there. And I have a contact form there, so if anybody wants to reach out to me directly through my author email, they can reach out there.
Wonderful.
Love it.
And people can borrow from the library, get your book, read it anywhere fine books are sold, right?
Yeah. So it should I hesitate to like promote it on big sites that should not be named right now, but support your local indie bookstores. If you have the funds to buy it, I would be eternally grateful. Or request it from your library. That also helps me out a great deal and helps out local libraries, which I feel like is also really important right now. So, yeah, that's awesome. And it is available in digital as well, online.
Yes, we'll link to everything on our website. And I'll tag you on our Instagram as well. So if you guys need help finding Emma, you can find her through us as well. We're on Instagram at Witchcast Podcast. Our website's witchcastpodcast.com, where we'll link to all of this. And you can shoot us an email if you have more suggestions or want to reach out, questions at witchcastpodcast@gmail.com. That's
right. And hey, while you're out there on the internet, you're always welcome to leave us what can only be described as a 5-star review. It is something that you could do for your mental health and ours. Support small podcast by leaving us a 5-star review on anywhere where you listen to this podcast, if you want.
That sounds like a great idea. I feel better already just thinking about it. Well, thank you again so much for being on the pod, Emma. We can't wait to read your next book. And gosh, we hope everyone goes read Whispers Most Foul. It was such a joy to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. It was amazing to be here.
Yay! And until next time, Hex yeah!
'Cause it's Witchcast.